Steve Merrill stopping by as he always does to break down some knowledge concerning the lines across the college football landscape. This time for week 6. WagerTalk.com is your place to be for Steve's work there, and WagerTalk TV right here on YouTube. Steve, we got a big showdown in the Big 12 for the last time in this conference. Oklahoma and Texas. Texas battle tested against the likes of Alabama last week against Kansas. Oklahoma's slate has been pretty light, and now they get smacked in the mouth against Texas as a 6-point dog.
You know, I talked about the beginning of the season. I like to play on teams in September that underachieved the previous year but had a lot of talent because I think they often come out on a mission in September. And the two teams I spotlighted in that role were Texas A&M and Oklahoma. And if you've blindly played those two squads in September this season, you went 9-1 against the spread and 9-1 straight up. It's been a remarkable angle. And Oklahoma, by the way, is 5-0 straight up in ATS. Depending on which line you use in the Cincinnati game, it was anywhere from 13 to 14.5. It landed 14, but the closing line was below 2 touchdowns. So you could be undefeated with Oklahoma. You'd be 4-1 with Texas A&M, but this is a huge step up in class now. Oklahoma can no longer just rout the weaker teams on their schedule like they did Arkansas State, Tulsa, and then Iowa State last week. Keep in mind, the only two games in which they were favored by less than 19.5 were SMU and Cincinnati, and they only won 28-11, 20-6, barely covered each spread by a point. And offensively did look a little challenged. The good news, though, is their defense has looked fantastic this year, and that was the bigger problem last year. Last year, they just couldn't stop anyone. You remember that TCU game middle of the season? That's when the wheels really fell off. TCU just scored at will. On the season now, Oklahoma allowing less than 11 points a game, just 4.6 yards per play, and both of those numbers are actually better, a slight bit better than Texas. Now, Texas has faced a slightly stronger schedule, so I'd say these two defenses are probably equal. The line does look inflated to me. This is a neutral field, of course, in the Cotton Bowl. Texas by 2 is what my database simulation has. So I do think there's some value with the live defensive dog here at +6.
Steve Merrill's work can be found at wagertalk.com, and the exclusive Under the Radar selection provided for us at the Voice of College Football. Become a member on the main channel or patreon.com/MarkRogersTV. Steve, a disappointing 16-2 against the 16-2 against the spread, folks.
But it is disappointing because, as the loyal viewers know, I was 16-1 heading into last week. So you're exactly right. It is disappointing. We're going to make it 17-2 this week.
There we go. It had to happen at some point.
It did. We got it out of our system.
The streak was ridiculous.
The one loss last year, so we got our one loss this year out of our system. So great time to jump on board.
That's how I like to look at it, too. Catch Steve's work at WagerTalk TV as well, wagertalk.com. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.